If the younger
Yeah.
generation doesn't wear Ao Dai, it would be hard for them to connect to the culture, and eventually this piece of culture gonna start to fade away because
Yeah.
you have to pass that on to the next generation. And you can pass the food, you pass these activity on, but clothing is such a big part of our culture to not pass on. I had that question in my head, like, what if the Ao Dai just fade away? So 8 months later, I founded Ao Dai by Cute Sass with the mission to make Ao Dai more accessible in
Mm-hmm.
any that it means, regardless of size, price point, location, how easy it is for people to get. And our first launch was sold the next day.
Hi, I'm Mia, and on the show today, how a Viet boss babes is bringing Ao Dai, a Vietnamese traditional dress, to America and making it accessible. I have my guest today, Sophia, welcome, who moved from Hue to Orange County in California at 15 years old. Her entrepreneurial journey started in the silk industry during the pandemic. She was shopping for Ao Dai and was frustrated by the limited size and styles available in person and online. So she took the matter in her own hand and founded Ao Dai by Cute Sass in 2021. Cute Sass offers elegant and modern styles with a wide range of sizes from small to 10XL, making Ao Dai inclusive for all body types. And to date, Ao Dai by Cute Sass is the biggest Ao Dai brand on Etsy, the only Ao Dai brand on Amazon Prime, and the first and most size-inclusive Ao Dai brand in America. I'm very excited to hear that today. Ao Dai by Cute Sass is available for shipping across US, Canada, and Australia when you order from their website. A little side fun fact is that her great-grandmother was the granddaughter of Vua Minh Mao, the second emperor of the Nguyen dynasty. So you would be the first or second royal guest on Viet Space today. Sophia, Your Highness, welcome to Viet Space.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here today to share my journey. Becoming a founder of Ao Dai by Cute Sass wasn't something that I originally planned, but it all started in 2021 when I couldn't find an Ao Dai that I liked. That frustration turned into a mission, and that's how the company was born. I never expected the company to grow as much as it has over the past 3 years, but we have received a lot of support from our community. And today we are very much a community driven brand. And I'm so grateful for that support. I'm very excited to share my journey and the company's journey today with you.
Excited to hear that. I'm also very honored to feature your stories on this podcast. I think that Ao Dai holds a very close, special place to a lot of our hearts, especially as Vietnamese women and Vietnamese men across the world. The work that you're doing to making it accessible to bring this most stylish outfits to across like North America and Australia it's really awesome to hear. So I guess to take us back about your immigrant stories. How did you decide to move? You moved from Hue to America at a very young age, right?
Yeah, I was born in Hue, so my background, I was very much a very Vietnamese girl. I was so proud of it. I am very proud of it. And I was a firstborn child, and my house was actually just a couple minutes walk from the royal palace. So I would walk to the palace as a little kid. And I remember when I was little, my grandmother was invited to the palace to when they have Yổ Vua, Cúng Vua, and then we like not me, but the elderly were invited to the palace. When I went to Quốc học Huế High School, I chose my major to be Vietnamese literature. So I was very immersed in Vietnamese language. I love Vietnamese language, the culture, the traditions, and I think that upbringing just gave me a lot of appreciation to our heritage. I remember growing up 10th grade, right? I go to high school and I remember first time wearing an áo dài trắng, the white áo dài to school. And it was probably one of the most beautiful moments of my life. Oh, I grow up, I get to wear this to school and
Yeah.
walk to school. That school was so beautiful. I don't know if you ever get a chance to visit Hue. It's a red school with 2 rows of cherry blossom. The cherry blossom would fall down because it's the spring. And I'm like, wow, this is so nice. Feel like it's much better than any Korean drama could be. That was my upbringing. And then I moved here as an international student. I was also the firstborn in the family, and my parents didn't have college degree. So I was the first person in my family to earn a college degree. But back to why do I move here? I think I was very ambitious kid. For me at that time was like, okay, let me get the most prestigious degree. So my dad, my first he was like, no, I don't want you to go. My mom was like, I don't want you to go. And she was crying. And she was like, just stay with me. I give you anything you want. And I'm like, no, I don't want you to give me and I'm gonna go and earn it. If the issue is if you don't have the money to send me, that's fine. But if you have the ability to do it and you don't do it, one day I'm gonna regret it.
Yeah.
And I think a year later they think about it and they're like, she's right. I'm gonna send her to America, right? And then I did the interview and I passed first try. I go to America and I lived at 15 years old, which is so hard, the hardest thing I ever done. And then it built character. Now I think about it, I always joke lightly, always build character. It did build character, but it come with a lot of trauma, a lot of difficulties that not a lot of people understand. So I can feel how hard it is to be an immigrant. I think I'm the first generation immigrant. When people think first generation immigrant is like our parents, right? And their life was hard because they come from a boat and I come on an airplane. But it's still hard for me, like different kind of hardship. And then I met my husband and then we fell in love and got married. And now we have a beautiful family. We've been married for 7, 8 years now.
That's a really beautiful immigrant story. And I resonate with you a lot because the perception of international students, there's mixed perceptions when you're in North America because you can afford to pay such a high tuition fees. But what people really oversee from the experience of being a first generation immigrant, it doesn't get easier. You face discrimination, you face being away from your parents. You get to see them maybe luckily once a year. You spend Thanksgiving alone, for example, because your friends are going to see their family and you don't have anybody. So it's a different kind of struggle for sure.
Yeah, and I think part of it is like being a firstborn, growing up in, I would say my family is quite a traditional family in Vietnam. In terms of expectations, they always say, họ không giỏi tôi đánh. That was the case for me. I was at China's next door where people would be like, oh, look at her, look how she did. If she can do it, why can't you do it?
Yeah.
But that child next door has her own trauma too. I
Yeah.
was always one of the top students, going to the top schools. I never failed until I come here, right? And I think that made me become an overachiever where I'm such a perfectionist and I'm like, everything has to go this way. And I think I come here and I don't know if it's better or worse. At 15, I had to navigate life here by myself, right? Because I don't really have anybody. When it gets hard, I don't want to tell my parents because I don't want them to worry about me. And I'm going to come here. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that degree that I wanted. So I'm not going to go back. Nothing going to change if I'm going to call them and cry about it. I'm just going to suck it in and do it, right? I was an independent child already, and it turned me to become even more independent and more of an overachiever. I think it gets harder when I have a family and I try to build a team and running a business. That upbringing was definitely unique and needed, but it comes with a lot of unspoken hardship and trauma that I'm still trying to overcome today. And my pet peeve is people tell me, oh, Sophia, you like do this because you got to where you are because you're so lucky. And you get that?
Yeah, they undervalue all your accomplishments by saying, oh, you're so lucky, Yeah.
I don't like that feeling. And I try to get over it and be like, it's not about me, it's about them.
When you said that, I wonder if it's the first child trauma or the first generation trauma. For firstborn daughter is like you are high achiever, hyper independent because you are paving the path for the younger siblings. And it's almost like this job that you didn't apply for, but then you have, which is to take care of your siblings, figure it out for them, right? And it's like that at an early age. Like for me, I've always been told it is your destiny to take care of your siblings. So go figure it out and then tell us what's up. Yeah.
That is so true. That is literally what happened. That is literally what my parents said. I was telling my mom one time, I was so upset. I was telling my mom, Mom, I have kids now. I have to raise my kids. I have to spend time and raise my kids now. And she was like, no, but you have to raise your siblings too. I'm like, no, no, that's your
That's
job.
your kid.
And then she was like, but I raised you. And it's
Yeah.
funny now. It's funny now with my siblings are older, but it wasn't funny that I had that pressure to never make mistakes in my life, right?
Yeah.
And I told you I didn't make mistake, and it's become expected of me.
Yeah.
It's crazy because people are gonna laugh about it. And like the first thing I ever fail is when I come here and I take the driving test and I fail. It was the written test. I was devastated. I was
First case of failure.
first days at the age of 17, right? 17. I was devastated. 3 days was like, I can't believe I failed. I can't fail this. I never failed. I never failed in my life. You
Yeah.
want me to go to this school? I'm going to take a test. I'm going to go to this Nguyễn Tri Phương, right? It was
Yeah.
the best school in tỉnh Thừa Thiên Huế. Quốc học Huế was one of the best school in high school in Vietnam. I take the test to interview to America, and a lot of people fail, which is normal. 2 times, 3 times, so on. First try, 3 questions, done. I passed. I come here, I graduated valedictorian in high school.
Yeah.
Even though I barely speak English, I learn English, but speaking English is different, right? So yeah, passed all the tests, valedictorian, graduated, and I failed on the driving test. Like that's so hard for me. And then I failed again on my driving test first time, so it took me 2 try on the writing. And it took me 2 try on the behind the wheel one.
Yeah.
And I failed a lot more times after that, but that's something I had to learn for myself.
Yeah.
It's okay to fail. You have to overcome.
Yeah. It's gonna happen one way or another.
Yeah, and it's fine to make mistake, and it's fine for you to give grace for you, right? Because I never give grace for myself. Nobody give me grace for
Yeah.
failure. Growing up, I wasn't given opportunity to fail. Like I wasn't allowed to fail. Since I failed and I failed a couple more times after that, and I feel like I have to fail a bit every day to learn something. Now I have more grace for me, grace for people around me. Like instead of, oh, why do you not know this, or why do you make mistake? It's more like it's okay, it happens,
Yeah.
we all can make mistakes. Yeah.
How is that failure expectations impact you, and have you talked to your parents as an adult about that?
I just had this conversations recently with my husband, and I don't think he was an overachiever. I am. And I told him, now I think about it, you try to give me grace, and I know sometimes I make it hard on you, but being an overachiever is miserable because sometimes you're never happy with what you have.
Yeah, so being an overachiever is miserable. Tell me more about that. I have so many things to say about that as a firstborn daughter.
I think it's miserable because you're not allowed to make mistakes. You're always expected to do better and be one of the best. Later on in life, when you are not the best, you feel miserable. I wasn't happy with an A minus, and I graduate with magna cum laude in accounting. And internship is one of the biggest accounting firm in the world. So it was pretty impressive. And now I look back at it, running a business, and I think we were raising a child. Yeah, graduated magna cum laude, and I'd be like, I was so close. I was 0.03 off from being a summa cum laude. They could have rounded me up.
They could have Aren't we always? I'm like, you could have given me the 90 instead of the 89,
Exactly. I was like 3.87. And it was 3.9, then you become a summa cum laude. But then I'm like, you know what? It's fine. At least it's fine. I graduated. I got that degree.
I remember the first time I failed, it was like, how did that happen, right? I felt so offended, but also very scared. My parents worked so hard for me to come here and then like to live with that on top of like juggling with, the culture shock of coming here for the first time. My parents didn't have any contacts because I was a first generation immigrant. Like it was really hard. When I'm on the call with them, I'm having a hard time because I don't want them to know how hard it is because they already did their part. So I want to suck it up.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I feel.
There's a certain point of time when you need to learn how to fail, and then they keep failing you left and right. And then you're like, okay, fine, I'll learn this. I'll ask for help.
Exactly.
Yeah, it took me a long time to normalize that failing is part of learning and becoming successful. The biggest lessons that I've learned in my life has come from failing.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if I succeed, there's nothing to learn. Like, I unlock that.
I think for me, the trauma is, I think I passed the failing. Like, oh, it's okay to fail. I think I passed
Yeah.
that. But I'm still learning to be less of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And I try my best, and it's okay to fail. But the part where I try my best is what best is best,
Mm.
right? Like, what is best? And I'm learning, and it's hard. Like, sometimes I would beat myself up, and I would talk to people like my husband, Jason. Do you think I did my best? Do you think I
And
did
he's
something
like, what? Like, what are you talking about, woman?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Do you think I did something wrong? You think I could do it better? Do you think blah blah blah? It's fine. It's past the failing, but I think what best is best, and I'm still trying to learn best to my limits of what I could do at the time when I still have a life. Right? For me, before I would be like, I have to finish all of this before
Mm-hmm.
I go home. And when I finish all of this before I go home, when I get home, it's 10:30. Yeah, and I worked two jobs, Mia. I worked two jobs until a month ago, a month and a
Oh, wow.
I full time too, and it was a demanding job in public accounting.
Mm.
So I would work in public accounting 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then I come
Yeah.
here from 5 p.m. until whenever I'm done. And that time of whenever I'm done is 10:30. I had no time. It's two full-time job, and I have two kids now, right? Yeah, so what best is best. And now I have to learn to let go. I think it's time I take risk. That risk, okay, I feel like the business get to a certain point where I can quit my job and focus on this. And now on the day, there are a long list of things I need to do. But I said if I get through 8 out of 10 and it's 6 p.m., I'd be like, you know what? It's fine. I can do this tomorrow. And then I would have a couple more hours with my kids. And 6 p.m. was still late for me.
Yeah.
Ideally, I would leave like at 4 or something.
It also sounds like you've run this business for what?
Cute Sass 5 years, and
Yeah.
I am at 3 years.
And then throughout that process, you were still working full time on top of this, and it's growing very fast. You also have a very supportive partner who like work you as a team to empower you through this, which is very awesome.
I think that's important to surround yourself with your support system, whoever that
Mm-hmm.
be. Part of it comes from being less independent, and meaning you can depend on others and you can let others depend on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think my partner is definitely one of the biggest supporter because he hear my rant every day. And but like other people, I think now when I'm building a team too, that is very important, right? Because there are different ways of people running a business, or everyone has different style of leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, nobody teach me, nobody teach anybody when you are a new business owner how to be a manager, and more importantly, how to be a leader. It's easy when you come and tell them, hey, do this, do this, do this. But then you take it to the next level. When I come in, I don't have to tell you what to do because our goals are aligned.
Mm-hmm.
I learned to align my goals with my team, and I try to treat them the way I want to be treated, and I teach them the way I want to be taught. Because sometimes there are things nobody taught me. Nobody taught me how to do. I have to figure out on my own. So I know
Mm-hmm.
that, and now I come in and I teach them. Sometimes it's little things, but I teach them. I wish somebody taught me when it was starting out. And I think allowing people around me to make decisions, to make mistakes, and to learn from it. And I think trust too, right? Like I trust my husband and I trust my team to do the right things when I'm not here. And part of it was because ever since the beginning, we are very clear of what the company is about, what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we are all working toward the same goals.
And what is that vision at the beginning and now for Ao Dai by Cute Sass?
It started back in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for an ao dai to wear after the pandemic. I was living in probably the most
Like populated Vietnamese
yeah,
community. Yeah.
and 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 then I kind of a small build too. And I would think, oh, it would be easy for me to find what I like at the price I want to pay. I think it's reasonable. It's actually quite hard. I just found the ao dais that I'm looking at, they're either tacky, the prints are outdated, or it's too pricey, or it's just inconvenient to get. Like I have to drive there, park my car, and go in. It's just too inconvenient for me, and that just made me wonder if, given the situations that I'm in,
Mm.
struggling to find an Ao Dai? How about people who wear larger sizes? How about people that live out of state, out of the country,
Mm-hmm.
right? How difficult that experience be for them? Sometimes could it be miserable too, right? And then if the younger
Yeah.
generation doesn't wear Ao Dai, it would be hard for them to connect to the culture, and eventually this piece of culture gonna start to fade away, right? Because
Yeah.
you have to pass that on to the next generation. And you can pass the food, you pass these activity on, but clothing is such a big part of our culture to not pass on. I had that question in my head, and again, I have that conversation with my husband too. And I would tell him, this happened, and what if they just don't wear it? Like, what if the Arya just fade away? So it stayed in my head. I struggled with that thought for 8 months. So 8 months later, I just take matter into my own hands. And then in October 2021, I founded Ao Dai by Cute Sass with the mission to make Ao Dai more accessible in
Mm-hmm.
any that it means, right? Regardless of size. It wasn't even about size at first. It was just price point, location, how easy it is for people to get. Our first launch was sold the next day.
Wow. Sold out.
Yeah, it was not like I don't even have an Instagram for Ao Dai by Cute Sass. I was just list it and it sold. So I in that matter, like I just feel like, okay, maybe this is what the
Mm-hmm.
calling I supposed to answer. And then each time I just try harder, right? And I think for me at that time, if I make the Ao Dai any more accessible for any person, and if make somebody else's life easier, if they feel a bit more connected to the culture, then
Mm-hmm.
it's worth it.
I'm so glad that you brought this to North America because I also understand the struggle of finding Ao Dai. And I have my Ao Dai from when I first moved here back in 2015, still tucked in, like ready to
Oh,
wear in a special occasion. Because I just don't know where to find the ones that I would like.
there are actually many stores here, but the experience was different. I don't think the experience was catered to our generation.
Yeah.
That's important to me because if you want this cultural piece to live on, it has to live on through this generation.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, and what do they look for?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What experience do they want? We have a showroom here in our office,
Mm-hmm.
the front. It's for people to come in and try on the Ao Dai, right? And I think normally when you go and shop an Ao Dai at a store nearby, in the Little Saigon area. It was just crowded. It's very packed with many different styles. And when you come in, you get confused. You don't know where to look. It's less of an experience. It's more of a transaction. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you go buy and you pay and you walk out. So I want to our showroom to be an experience. I want it to be a memory. When I build the showroom, it's either do you want to take a lot of customers or do you want to have a balance when everybody come in, they feel like they are celebrated and they feel like themselves and they feel like it's a non-judgment zone. And for me, I sacrifice the fact like I don't need a lot of visits. I don't need to fill the showroom up with 10 people, but a showroom run by appointments. So it's one-on-one, right?
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes appointment for personal and you come in. And since we have so many styles, 560 right now,
Mm-hmm.
we ask them what you want to see because there's no way we can display 500 styles. That's not how we run. Like it's going to be so packed and
Overwhelming.
yeah, and defeat the purpose of like an experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we ask them, hey, list 3 styles you want to see the most and your measurement, and we will pick out that exact ones for you, prepare for you on the rack. So when you come in, you try on and know, oh, how it feels. Like, oh, I thought I'm gonna feel like this, but it feel like this. Oh, I thought I wouldn't like
Mm-hmm.
this. I like this, and then they can look through the racks. So the racks, we have new arrivals. We have most bestseller or size inclusive. So they can look through the rack and they can be like, okay, now through this 3 style, I know like what I like, what I don't like. Now I can see a couple more and narrow down to find that one that I really love.
Mm-hmm.
And that judgment-free zone is really important. Like nobody gonna come in here and judge you about how tall you are, how short you are, how small, how big you are. It doesn't matter. It's about choosing an outfit that fits you, not making you fitting in the garment.
Mm-hmm.
important to me. And second is the experience, right? If you want to spend time by yourself, we're not gonna bother you. Like, and it's just that experience of you to discover yourself, to be there just on your own and try it on and look in the mirror and know what you like and what you don't. Yeah, and we have many more visits now. Like it's just so cute. Like the parents would bring a baby and she would bring her mom and then they all come in and try our yai, right? And they just done by themselves in the showroom. They have the whole place for themselves. And for me, it's like, wow, that is so cool because it's gonna become the memory for that family, 3 generations, and that growing up gonna be like, oh, I remember I tried on with my mom, and that's something I wanna create for my customers. Instead of a crowded shopping place, we want to make it a cozy showroom. Yeah, an experience and memory.
This is something that sounds like there's a lot of intention around it and creating that memories for the buyer. It's kind of like recreating that first look when you try on your wedding dress memories. Yeah.
I think it should be as special. It's funny because when we started out, I started out by Cute Sass. You cannot expect anybody to know your mission, to know the company's vision. It's not the customer's job. So I never expect anybody to know anything. If I make this Ao Dai accessible to just one person, for me, it's worth it. Because of that thought, I didn't know how much an impact the company was having in our community. But then as we start to ship out Ao Dai, we start to get letters, emails, feedback, DMs, from one email to hundreds and thousands of them now of people telling me how beautiful they feel, how Vietnamese they feel in the Ao Dai, and somebody who never wear an Ao Dai for 40, 42 years of their life because they did not ever think they would ever find something that fit them.
Yeah.
And it's like so heartbreaking. But now they found that, and it's a life-changing moment for them. I never thought like it was such a big impact that Ao Dai by Cute Sass was having in our community. So why do I make it such a special moment? Maybe because those letters bring to me like, wow, this is a special moment. Like if you tried on a wedding dress, a special moment, and there should be a special moment just like that because it could be a life-changing moment for somebody that they finally feel Vietnamese, that somebody that feel excluded in the culture the whole life, now they can feel like they belong, right? Yeah, it's a moment we don't take lightly here.
One of the big theme of your mission is to make it price accessible, but also sizing accessible. I remember growing up, I wasn't a fat kid, but I was just a bigger kid. They call me like big bones, right? Like
Oh my
so small.
gosh.
Yeah, it's just like I'm not just like a quote unquote like muscular kid compared to the girls out there growing up. And I was like, always be wearing like going to the boys section or wearing extra large. I'm trying to save the world by this. Personally, I had to go through that experience all the way until I went to university. When I came here and then go shopping, they're like, girl, you're a size small. What are you talking about? You're not an extra large. It was a whole process of unlearning what I was taught just like from Hong society. Like my teacher would tell me that I'm bigger or bulkier, and then my classmates jokingly told me like muscular, and I'm like, I just want to be small. But it's a traumatizing experience whenever you're trying to go shopping, especially when you're going trying to shop for Ao Dai. So do you feel like from your experience and observation in the fashion industry, has that beauty standards evolved for Vietnamese? How has that changed over time?
Yeah. First of all, I'm so sorry you've been through that. It's just so crazy for me because you look so petite and when you have that experience, it kind of doesn't make sense, I think you brought up a point. We talk about sizes in a bit. The beauty standards in Vietnam, as in many parts of the world, are definitely evolving because today's generations are growing up in a much more diverse environment. We are more open-minded, right? We're exposed to global cultures where each country or each region has different standard of beauty, and it shouldn't be standard anymore. So this diversity make us feel more encouraged to a broader acceptance of beauty in all forms. From what I've seen from my experience and I've seen from my customer, is like there are definitely also a healing part to this evolution. Not only you are healing yourself, but many young people are reconciling with that standard that the parents and the grandparents faced. So not healing them only, but also healing their generations that face it and pass it down to them.
Yeah.
And we're also in an educating position to educate the older generations about inclusivity and acceptance, because size doesn't matter. It doesn't define who you are. And beauty isn't one size fits all. So I think it's a challenging but gradual change that's happening right now. As a company, Ao Dai by Cute Sass, we support this evolution, especially if you've seen our most recent campaign, the Ao Dai for Everybody campaign. We support this by gathering a diverse cast of just regular us in any sizes. So from small to 10XL for women and medium to 10XL for men. We celebrate them through a photo shoot and letting them share their stories with everyone. Through that, right, it's just one of the first thing we did, but we hope, there's and more campaigns later. We can build a more supportive community, and we can affirm to people that, hey, size is just a number and beauty comes in every shape. And we can all together challenge that outdated beauty standards and sometimes unhealthy, right, standard, so we can embrace every body types and skin tone, genders. It doesn't matter. You are beautiful the way you are.
Yeah. What are some of the submissions that you were really moved?
I think there was so many. We read through all of them. We have 140 submissions, and they are all touching. All stories are unique and very special. It's hard to choose just some, but I think there are some that come off the top of my head that I can share with you. So we have a submission from a petite woman. People normally think it's easy to be a petite person, but it's not either. We have the submission that said, as a petite woman, finding the perfect Ao Dai that fits just right has always been a challenge. I've tried on many dresses that either doesn't hug my body properly or had pants that were way too long. But when I finally came across an Ao Dai from Ao Dai by Cute Sass, everything changed. The moment I put it on, I feel like a princess.
Oh,
fit me perfectly,
yeah.
hugging my body all the right places, and the pants and the dress are just the right length, which was such a relief. That was,
Wow.
yeah. We have one from a mom. My journey of finding the perfect Ao Dai has not been an easy one. As a mother of two beautiful babies, and my last one, which is 4 months old, my postpartum body was going through many changes, and I've struggled more with finding the perfect Ao Dai. And now I know that I don't have to think like Ao Dai is only for tall and skinny people. I used to think the Ao Dai can only be worn correctly if you are a certain size. But then now I know that size doesn't matter because nobody could see the size. And now that it's possible to find a size inclusive Ao Dai that I can wear and feel beautiful in any Ao Dai regardless of what my body looked like at that time. And I learned it from Ao Dai by Cute Sass because that's where I found my Ao Dai during my pregnancy and after.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
so beautiful. I know you also offer male Ao Dai,
Yeah.
right? Was there submissions from the male perspective too?
For male, we do. We have this one from a male. I think male tend to share less about their experience, but we do. So we have one from a post campaign, and it's so emotional. And I share two from two male. So post campaign, it was a person that we selected, and he came back after the photo shoot and sent us this. Thank you again so much for including me for your photo shoot yesterday. I had a blast and you all are so amazing. I am glad to have had the opportunity to be there and show that even people like me deserve to have an Ao Dai that they love and that looks great on them. Growing up in Kentucky as a bigger Vietnamese man, I faced a lot of insults and mistreatment by everyone, including my family. Being in a place where the Vietnamese presence is small, the thing I have to experience make me feel so disconnected from my culture, and it was truly lonely, feeling like I didn't belong. Well, I'm so happy to have found you all. And yesterday was the first time in a long time where I felt part of my culture and that I had a place with my people. Thank you again. And I look forward to seeing how all the photos turn out. And I hope to have the chance to work with you all again.
Wow.
Yeah, and we have this one. It's that I think this business is exactly what our community needs. It saddens me every time I go to Phước Lộc Thọ. So Phước Lộc Thọ is the little Saigon area because I can't help but wonder who will take over the mom and pop shops when they retire. Keep up the hard work. Our people thank you.
Like you said, this is to continue the generational cultures and keep these businesses alive. There is a part of it that is to modernize or make it accessible and cater towards this generation of consumers. And you guys are doing exactly that.
Yeah, we try our best. It's hard, but it's good to have that clear vision in mind and always understand why you do what you do. If I can give somebody advice, when you start a business, there's so many day-to-day things that sway you away from what you're trying to do. And there are new trends or opportunities that may probably bring you some quick revenue, but then it go against your whatever mission you try to accomplish. So if you don't understand the why behind what you do, or sometimes forget about it, you may end up doing the wrong thing. So I think Ao Dai by Cute Sass, right? For me, since the get-go, it wasn't about just selling clothes. It's about preserving and sharing Vietnamese culture in a way that's inclusive and meaningful.
Yeah.
I think in the business world, if you start a business just because you want to be called an entrepreneur or you like the idea of being your own boss, you kind of setting yourself up for a tough ride because running a business is almost a 24/7. And those reasons, right? Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do all these cool things. But then if things get hard, it's not going to keep you going. Seeing your vision clear in your head helps you steer the ship away when it's storm and so you don't get distracted by little waves.
Yeah.
Keeping that vision is important when you build a team too. I remind myself and the team why we started this in the first place. When I train them to pack orders, it's not about, oh, for you, yes, sometimes you may feel like, oh, it's just an order. It needs to be shipped out. But you don't know, for somebody receiving this, it could change their life. So keeping that vision clear is very important and moving forward, even when things get hard, because we know it means a lot to somebody else who receiving this package. I remember when we started up, I don't call myself an entrepreneur for the longest time. Even now, I don't be like, oh, I'm Sophia, I'm an entrepreneur. No, but I'm embracing it because it's just not why I started this. I don't start because I want to be an entrepreneur. Day to day, if pack order, dude, that was pretty easy. But like behind it, like checking in inventory, we were shipping orders out of my house and we out of space. I barely got space. I have to crawl to get to the out. I have to pick under the rain and it was so cold. I pick until 4 a.m. So from like 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. just gave birth. So my baby was 2 months old and I did that. Yeah, and it's hard. I lost 10 pounds because it was so laborious and I had no time to eat. And that was like, are you up for that? Right? If you don't have a vision in mind, a purpose of what you do, then that entrepreneurship title is not worth it.
I have a few last questions. If someone were to buy their first Ao Dai, how would you walk them through that? If I'm your first customer, I don't know what to choose, what fits me, I don't know what my size is, like I don't know what material is out there. How would you advise them to buy their first Ao Dai?
For somebody that's choosing the first Ao Dai, I would start by considering the occasions you're thinking of. Is it for attending a wedding, a guest, is it a festival, or casual wear? Then you can gauge what styles you're looking at. Think about the colors and the patterns that inspire you. How do you want to feel when you wear an ao dai? Like if you wear a red ao dai, you would probably feel different than if you would wear a blue ao dai, right? And what do you want to express through your outfit? Like you want to be, oh, for me, I want to be subtle. Or sometimes I want to be, oh, I want to feel a bit powerful today. I want to feel a bit extra today. Think about how you want to express yourself, what message you want to deliver today. So it set a theme for the ao dai. And then I think next is the challenging thing, but to determine your size. And remember, size is just a number. Just take the measure and you measure, and whatever size it is, what it is. It doesn't define who you are, and be comfortable with that. So pick a size and then find a style that fits your inspirations, and I think that help narrow down your choices, and then trust your choice, make a leap, and enjoy the experience.
Well, I will take that note in mind. The next time I buy Ao Dai, that will be something that I need to keep in mind. So before we do wrap up, I love a little fun outro for my Vietnamese guests on the show. We call it Thả Phanh. So basically, it's a rapid Q&A. Are you ready? Are you up for it?
Yeah, do it.
Okay, really quick, 3 questions and then we're out of here.
Yeah.
So trước khi chúng mình kết lại cuộc trò chuyện hôm nay thì chúng mình sẽ đến với bạn Thả Phanh. So basically là Mia sẽ đặt ra 3 câu hỏi chớp nhoáng và Sophia sẽ đưa ra câu trả lời nhanh nhất có thể, không được lưỡng lự. Ok chưa? Sẵn sàng chưa? Sẵn
Rồi.
sàng. Okay. Ok. Câu hỏi thứ nhất là nếu phải chọn một món ăn Việt Nam để ăn đến cuối đời thì Sophia sẽ chọn món gì?
Bún bò Huế.
Bún bò Huế. That's very local. Kiểu đúng gái
Yeah.
Huế.
Ăn buổi sáng mà. Yeah.
And, câu hỏi số 2 là một sai lầm trong cuộc sống mà giúp Sophia trưởng thành.
Rớt rớt lái xe. Thì rớt lái xe nên em biết là mình thì rớt lái xe cũng được, mình thi rớt thì đâu có sao đâu.
Rồi bài học rớt đầu tiên của
Bài
Sophia.
học tiên.
Và câu hỏi cuối cùng là slogan trong cuộc sống của Sophia là gì?
Thua keo này tao bày keo khác.
Very entrepreneur of you. So thank you, Sophia, again so much for such wonderful conversations. How can the audience support your community initiatives and your business?
Thank you so much for having me, Mia. I had a great time with you too. You can support Ao Dai by Cute Sass by checking out our website and follow us on social media at Ao Dai by Cute Sass. We're constantly sharing updates about news, latest styles, and campaigns, and we would love you to be part of our community.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much again for your time, and thanks to the audience for listening. I will see you next time. Bye.